Alright, I wanted to showcase the new Grand Erosion water spell from the Entropy quest. And then maybe probably the best usage for it, I would think. Then I wanted to revisit a concept that I really kind of think players aren't grasping. I don't know why, but first I'll start off with the actual spell. The spell looks to be overcharged. So what we're looking at is, let's see here, we got 915 MP. That tells me it's overcharged and that it's paid for with increased MP cost. That's my preferred version of overcharged. I prefer that over HP. I guess unless you have endurance, but you can heal MP readily enough. So basically I have Archmage here and then the Water Cutlass, just to kind of showcase what I think is the best usage. Obviously what you want to do, you have a water spell, you're in a water armor. In this case I'm going against a water monster, so the water stuff is not going to do the greatest, so obviously Prime Chaos Orb out of it. So now we have 100% to water. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to attempt to heal back any of my resources. This makes this idea spammable, and to me that's more important than increasing your damage, unless you're just trying to end the battle quickly. But when you're questing and you go from battle to battle to battle, you kind of want to conserve resources, especially those quests that you have a roll of the dice, and you sometimes you have to defy the failed roll with your SP. You want to go into these things not only from that standpoint, but you can use like a Zfinity Gauntlet or Bag of Mixed Nuts or whatever quick casts that you have in the beginning of these battles to give yourself a leg up in the beginning. But anyway, so what I'm going to do here is go with my Optico, Lucky Beastmaster, and with 100% to darkness and 100% to water, the Creature 72 phase combo should work pretty well. The spell itself does Elevol, and I'll just cast it. So 132% for 3 rounds. And then as you can see, phase is decent. Phase will not do a crazy amount more damage with Elevols, or even if you did like the Hypersalinate, that'll increase water up to 200%. Compared to if you're just driving your panic down as much as possible. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to now do the conversion, the monoflow. So for 345 SP, you basically give yourself 659 MP to work with. So you have your 915 minus your 659, and that's how much MP you're actually going to use here. So what we're talking about, it's about 256, I guess that would be MP, and then the 345 SP. So in a sense, you're kind of splitting your cost, almost like a hybrid of sorts, of your water spell in this armor. And then it will inflict the Elevol. The value of splitting your cost here between MP and SP is this guest and pet combo, because phase is going to heal both MP and SP. So by splitting the cost, and because phase is going to heal both, the synergy there, you'll notice the synergy. So I'm starting with 2632 MP and 922 SP. Decent damage, 132% Elevol, really good damage here. And then you notice the heals I have here, in part because of the panic, and in part here. So even though it didn't full heal my MP, I did get a bigger heal on my SP. You can see how splitting the cost in this setup now starts to become a little bit spammable. I'll do it again here. So what you want to do, you're going to just split your cost. And then if you get some lucky strikes here, in this case I actually fully healed my MP. So this is actually the best case usage, is actually using it with Archmage Apprentice. And if you're noticing you're getting some decent heals, you're staying healed up. You're probably on average, so you go from 915 MP and then you split the cost, and then with the heal back of the guest and pet combo, you're probably only spending 15-20% resources after the fact, to be honest with you. You know, there's going to be rounds where it's less and rounds where it's more, but you know, I don't know the exact numbers, but just in playing with it, 2632 MP and 724 SP. So almost a full heal on MP and drastically more SP. Going this route, you're actually going to increase your SP over time. You're not going to actually probably lose SP doing this, just because of the optical misc and the lucky strike on the heal. As you can see, decent damage. Also with this armor, you could just do the barrier and get the MP barrier, the blocking and all that stuff, and still do good damage if you just want to play defense in the armor, like maybe a Beastmaster. In a sense, it's kind of like the Dark Invader. All right, so that's the spell, and that's probably the most optimal usage for the item. This specific combination here. Now I'm going to pivot, and what I'm going to do is I want everyone to understand something, that in order to really drive this combination up with optical misc, especially, and phases damage, what you need to do is you need to get panic as low as possible. The best way to do that is either get celerity and have your guest go twice, or cast spells that inflict large amounts of panic. Jenny's Orb of Power is resisted with, I think it's resisted with Endurance. I need to look it up. And then Seeing Red, I think, is resisted with Charisma. It's a little bit better spell to use. It just has slower animation. The greater the resistance, the greater the panic. So energy is bigger than fire, so I'm going to go with energy here. And you're going to see it is at 28, and then once the creature goes, it's 5. And then you're going to see phases numbers, especially on a lucky strike, start to drop bombs, even with water element not being that great. And the value of Prime Chaos Orb is you can make sure darkness, which I think darkness is more important than water if you're trying to Prime Chaos Orb something specific, just to drive the panic down. And then if water happens to be low, phase won't do as much damage, of course, but the heal part will be higher, and so that's a nice trade-off. So again, inflict panic, we've got 52, and then creature dropped it to 35, and then you saw the biggest hit there was 17. That scenario, increasing actual panic, is going to give phase more damage than increasing water itself. So I'm going to do this one more time. And one of the nice things about healing your SP is, you might have some of these goodies that you can use. Like if I wanted to use this guy here. So now I have a little bit of blind. So in this case, fire's a little bit higher. .58 panic, drops to 32, and then you see phase is like 2400 and 2900. So you're not going to cast the water spell and get the Elevuln to increase phase as much as if you casted actually a panic spell. And that's the value of actually carrying those spells. Another thing is if you're running around with Dark Invader armor, which is the Elevulns to fire and energy, if you, instead of running with Solneko, if you wanted to hop over to Warpire, I've already demonstrated some of the ability of Warpire to drive panic down, increasing this whole setup even further. You're really able to just use Warpire even as a beast armor, getting your damage from Pet and Guest as well as bleed. And as you can see, it's big damage. It just is. No lucky strikes that time. Alright, so that's the video. Take care.